Yeah, he's Oh, I thought he was checking something. No, but it's fine. It's funny. We have like the same personality. Is this on?
I think so.
It's not on.
Is it on?
It's not. Is it on?
Okay.
Oh, it's not.
It's not connected
Oh,
to the room. Only to the live feed.
oh. So we got to project. Okay, go ahead, Jose.
All right. Excuse me. Can we get everyone's attention? Thank you.
That's a good.
Uh, Good morning, everyone. Uh, my name is Jose Loya, and this is my co-head GF, Kiana Murphy.
Yes.
We apologize. The mic is not set up for the room, so we're going to project a little bit today. But it does apparently work for the live stream, so it'll be a little bit of a mix.
Yes. So if you have folks who aren't here who need to listen in on this information, please let them know that there is a live stream. So yes, welcome to the Africana Institute. So the Center for Africana Studies Summer Institute for Pre-Freshmen is one of Penn's premier pre-freshman programs. This intensive one-week course of study is taught by standing Penn faculty and exposes students to major intellectual and cultural themes and currents in 19th, 20th, and 21st century African and African diaspora studies. So you all have been assigned to your courses. And we plan on having such an amazing conversations in those courses. So courses, Africa through literature. Who's in that class? I know there's more of you. Don't be shy. Love, anger, madness, history, memory, and silence in Haiti. Where the folks at? Okay, okay. The transnational politics of health on the African continent. Okay, okay. Contemporary African film. Okay. Traveling Black, race on the road during the segregation era. I am both of those. And the Black Arts Movement. Cool. So during the week, you'll be engaging with amazing Penn faculty. So you can expect expert criticism of your work, also with some of the graduate fellows who we'll be introducing later. And we try to stress the importance of the Institute as a safe environment for intellectual discussion and debate, as well as a safe environment for social development. So we embrace diversity and critical opinion. We're going to push you, we're going to challenge you, and it's going to be a great time. Also, part of being in the institute means that we have rules and regulations. So this is kind of the prime time where we start doing this while parents are here.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No. I'm basically saying that welcome again, if you didn't hear me at the beginning, and that we'll be moving into thinking about the rules and regulations. And we try to do this because the parents are here in the room. So we want you all to kind of hear what the expectations are of the students while we're all here in the same room. And Jose is going to lead us into talking about some of those things.
Yeah. So this is a wonderful week for both graduate students and the undergrads. But in order to make sure that, as you can see in your folders, everything is timestamped and your schedule is super packed. So we have some rules so that and regulations that are important to one, continue the intellectual challenges that you're going to face in the classroom, that we create a safe space, and also that we can embrace community here. And so student movement, both within and outside the dorm area, is extremely important. So during the week, there are different programs throughout campus that are occurring. In the summer, the university, if you can already tell, has a lot of renovations and construction. So we try to monitor and figure out where all students are at all times. Mm-hmm. And so the first few days, you're actually going to be with your graduate fellow the entire time. And so we make sure that, one, you should have already contacted or been in contact with your graduate fellow. And we do this so that, one, we can show you guys the campus. You have the next 4 years to be here, but we want to make sure that your first week here, that you guys get a step-by-step process as to the resources, the different departments, and the different buildings around campus so you're familiar with. As part of that, we have some boundaries that your GFs will also work with you on. Because the campus is relatively large and our schedule is actually really, really tight, the boundaries of the program are as follows. So students cannot leave past 40th Street all the way down to 34th Street. So we have that area, and we are to be within Walnut and Spruce. Mm-hmm. So Spruce and Walnut, 40th and 34th Street. That is the region in which we are going to be having the entire institute. So all the buildings and the classrooms are within that area. Mm-hmm. Now, all the dining halls that you'll be using, as well as any types of, talks that will be going to are within this boundary. There's no need to go outside of these boundaries. The reason we say that is there's 75 students that are participating, and there's 15 GFs. So we want to make sure that everyone is safe, that everyone knows where we want where to be. All our professors, our speakers, they do this for you guys. And so we want to make sure that everyone is there and that we leave a positive impression for the Institute on them as well as for yourselves. And so that's a non-negotiable. I was going to ask any questions, but really there should be no questions because, we understand the boundaries. And the reason we say it here is the parents are here. So if you get a phone call from us, we are telling you now that this, so your students understand that this is what we're operating with. In addition to that, as you can tell in this dorm, there's a lot of students that are in various programs. The students, the undergrads at the university also know that this week, because it is an intense week in terms of like the workload, creating community amongst yourselves, we don't allow fraternization outside of the students. So other undergrads, other family and friends that are out here, we do not, it's just all within us. So we all walk together, we hang out together, we get used to one another, and that's the entire week. And that includes the graduate students that will be working with you, yes. That we're all together on this. So we are within the different floors, but you'll notice that the entire floors are dedicated just to the Institute. We do have an open door policy for graduate students. So after, and you'll see in this in your itinerary, if there's ever an issue, you need homework assistance, just someone to talk to, the graduate fellows, as well as Kiana and myself, will be available to all students for the most part. Let's see. There's so within that, because we have a lot of work, the entire building actually told us it's quiet hours throughout the entire day and night. What that means is we control our noise levels because honestly, there are going to be some long nights and we have a lot of work and people need to be able to work through in some relative, without so much noise. And so music levels are just regular music levels. There's zero tolerance on contraband. That includes alcohol, illegal and non-prescription drugs, and any other substance that a GF that we feel that you shouldn't be using. Again, we say that with the parents here. We don't want to have any phone calls. We want everyone to be successful and everyone to be safe. You haven't officially gone through the entire orientation at Penn, and so we want to make sure we get you to that point. And so you are our responsibility, right? Like you really are our responsibility, and we want to make sure that we keep you guys safe. And so for this entire week, there is zero tolerance. And we've been trained and they've told us, and we enforce it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, let's see.
And starting today, you all will be required to have your name tag on at all times. We're starting to learn who our mentees are, but we don't know everyone's name. So throughout the week, please hold on to your name tag and also your PIN card. That's the only way you can kind of get your meals and also get into this building. So if you lose that, we're going to have some issues. So make sure you're kind of keeping tabs on that.
And it's also a non-negotiable to wear the name tag for the duration of the program.
Yes.
And the reason we say that is while we're on campus, like I said, there's a ton of different programs that are happening, and we need to be aware of one another and just kind of go through this together. And that includes your graduate fellows will be wearing name tags too. We know each other's names, but we still do it. And so that's also a non-negotiable. The other things are just basic roommate stuff. Respect your neighbor. If something does offend you or there's activity that you feel uncomfortable with, feel free to come to your GF. There's multiple GFs on the floor. If you don't feel comfortable going to your GF, there are other graduate fellows that are going to be located throughout the floor, across the floors. You also have me and Kiana here that we can help address those issues. In the rooftop lounge, this is a study area for the entire week as well. Mm-hmm. It's usually available. If it isn't available, you also have student lounges on each floor that you guys can become familiar with. There's a computer lab on the first floor that all students will have access to in case you don't have a computer or you need to print something. And your card should give you access to the computer lab.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we've gone over the rules and regulations with your parents here, do we have any questions? Not that we're negotiating the rules, but just questions on the rules for specification?
Yeah.
No? Okay, great. Also, curfew, last thing. That's it. All students, regardless, for the entire week, must check in with their graduate fellow before midnight, right? What that means is you are in the dorm, and you are essentially, when you check in with your graduate fellow, that's it. Like, you are staying in the dorm. We are not going to we're not making any additional trips anywhere else. Everyone must check in by midnight. If you do not check in by midnight, the procedure is that we call the police, the Penn police. We assume that Let me be very clear. We have to call the Penn police. Again, you are our responsibility for the trip. We do not want to make a phone call to your parents and say we don't know where, we expect your student and they haven't communicated properly. Again, you're going to be with your graduate fellow. We've never had any incidences, but again, I don't want to make the phone call to Professor Charles that, hey, we have a student that hasn't checked in with their graduate fellow. We have had no issues. This is my 5th year doing this, and we've had no issues in the 5 years that I've been here. And so we expect that it continues. And again, that's throughout the entire week. Because of the course load, because it's a 1-week intensive program, most students are here working. And we're here working with you as your graduate fellows as well. So having said that, we'd like to now introduce to you our graduate fellows for this year's Summer Institute. Come on. Yeah. So we should introduce ourselves. Yeah. And then they can go off. Oh, sorry. So we'll. Yeah.
All right, so I'm Kiana again. I'm an English PhD student here at Penn, and I work on contemporary African American literature. Make sure you speak up. Okay. The mic is the projector now. In front of it. Okay. I'm Kiana. I hate microphones. I'm a 4th year in the English PhD program here at Penn, and I work on contemporary African American literature.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jose. I'm a PhD student in sociology, and my work looks at racial stratification in the mortgage market.
Hi, I'm Angie. I'm a PhD student in sociology, and I primarily study immigration to the U.S.
Hi, I'm Nora. I'm a sixth-year PhD student in sociology and education, and my work is on race, gender, and trauma in schools.
Hi, I'm Kirsten. I'm a third-year PhD student in the English department. I study early AFAM literature in the Americas.
Hi, I'm Austin. I'm a third year PhD in the sociology department, and I'm interested in race, sexuality, and religion.
Hi, everybody. I'm Giovanni. I'm a second year in political science, second year PhD student in political science, and I study race and policy implementation in Latin America.
Hi, my name is Lizette. I am a fifth year PhD student in education, and I support teacher learning about race and racism.
Hey, I'm Yosef. I am a third year PhD student in the philosophy department, and I work on social ontology. And basically what that is, I'll know once I'm finished the dissertation.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tatiana. I just finished my master's in Africana, and I study beauty pageants in Jamaica.
Hi, I'm Destiny. I'm a second year PhD student in Africana. I study African American literature of the 20th century, Black feminism, and representations of Black girlhood.
Hi, my name is Elias. I am a rising fifth year in the English department, and I work on depictions of, I just work on the 20th century African American novel.
Hi, my name is Ian Peebles. I'm a PhD student in the philosophy department, and I specialize in neuroethics, philosophy of race, and philosophy of religion.
Hi, folks. I'm Daniel Morales Armstrong. I'm a second year in Africana. My research focuses on Black history in Latin America, specifically the moment of abolition in Puerto Rico.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mayowa. I'm a third year PhD in English, and I study African literature in English, Black diasporic studies, and 20th and 21st century African American literature.
So now we'd like to welcome Professor Camille Charles. She's the Walter H. and Leonore C. Annenberg Professor in the Social Sciences, Professor of Sociology, Africana Studies, and Education. She's also the Undergraduate Chair for Africana Studies and co-faculty director of the Penn First Plus at the University of Pennsylvania.
Good morning, everybody. What I didn't hear is the first rule, which is whenever you enter a space, please silence your cell phones. Okay, so you might want to get used to just having them on vibrate like you did in high school, so that you don't have any accidents, because professors respond differently to those little interruptions in class, and it's better just not to find out. I think the second thing I want to reiterate in terms of the rules around contraband, curfews, those kinds of things, is that until you have formally matriculated into the university, meaning you get here for new student orientation, you've moved into the dorm, all of that, there are things that you could do that could get you okay, so you know how you get your acceptance letter and it says that it's contingent upon certain things happening, like not flunking all of your classes spring semester senior year and those kinds of things. Things can still happen that would be problematic for your matriculation if we don't keep a tight ship during the week. The other thing is that a few of you are probably still 17 and likely none of you is 21. Marijuana is decriminalized in the city of Philadelphia. It is not legal. And even if it was legal in Philadelphia, it is likely not legal on campus. And so, again, there is plenty of time for you all to do whatever it is you are going to do, whatever it is you may have already done. But if you get busted doing it here this week, there will be problems because the buck actually stops with me. So I am responsible for all of you. And I have done this for, I can't remember now, 12 or 13 years. And I have said for that entire time that what I want for your students is what I would want for my own children. So I take that very seriously, that it is the university's responsibility to care and support for your students. And so I know that if my child misbehaved, I would want a phone call. Okay, I would want my child to have an opportunity to explain themselves and to make right, but also to understand that there are certain lines that if you cross them, that's it. So we are firm but fair. I have not had to call a parent in the 12 or 13 years that I have done this. We have not had to send a child home in the history of the program, which is now, I think, 33 years. So let's keep that record going. There's plenty of fun to be had. The reason for the non-fraternization is that others on campus do drink. They do drugs. They have parties. Again, you have plenty of time to do all of those things. We are not saying never ever. We are saying take your time, take care of what has to be taken care of first, get your bearings, and then branch out into the rest of the university when you come back in August, or some of you will be staying for PFP and you'll just be staying here after the institute is over. So understand that this is all because we care about you like family. We want to see you be successful here. And we want your parents to leave here today or to log off if you're in the live stream and know that everything is going to be just fine. Okay. It is not that the surrounding areas outside of the boundaries are unsafe. I also want to reiterate that it is a safe space. But again, there are a lot of you, there are a few of us, and we need to kind of make sure that everybody is where they need to be and doing the things they need to be doing. And so again, you will eventually move beyond those boundaries. And parents should understand that it is safe beyond those boundaries. So as I said, I have been directing the Institute for 12 or 13 years. I'm getting old, it's all a blur. But I've been at Penn for 21 years. I'm a sociologist by training. And this program is, I think, the best thing that the Center for Africana Studies does. And it is certainly the best part of my job. And so it is a labor of love for all of us who participate in this. And we're here to support your students, not just during the week that they're here and not even just through their freshman year, but really throughout their Penn careers. And so we will all be contacts that they will have for the entire time that they're here, in good times and in bad. So if you have challenges and you need assistance, we're here to help. If you have achievements or accomplishments and you want to celebrate, we're here to listen and to broadcast that through our social media platforms. If you need help with resources so that you can be your best self while you're here, we can often help with that too. If we don't have the resources ourselves, we know where to find things and we will help you with those things as well. So the academic piece of the week is really important and you are going to work very hard. But the community piece is equally important because that's how we become balanced human beings, right? I hear from the young folks that Penn is the work hard, play hard Ivy. And from what I can gather, that is true. And so, we want to help with understanding the work hard piece of it and navigating that so that when you start playing hard too, the thing you actually came here for, which is the work hard part, doesn't fall off. Okay, so that being said, how many of you have read everything that was assigned to you for the whole week? Y'all aren't even in it this year, so stop. I'm sorry, I saw one hand over here. Hands high, be proud. Okay? All right. Look around. So, clearly, we have a hard-headed group here. When your professor says read before you get here, they mean it. Okay? Your lives will be a lot easier if you just do it. So, the ones who raise their hands, they're going to get some sleep this week. If they don't sleep, it's going to be because they chose not to sleep because they're socializing or hanging out and having interesting conversations. They will not be trying to catch up on the stuff that they should have done before they got here. But also understand that every year I get about 5 students who raise their hand and say they actually read everything. Okay? This week will feel a lot like midterms for those of you who didn't read. So, the good news is you won't ever have to feel this way again if you learn this lesson now. Okay? So the other good news is that we have never had a student not complete the institute. So once you have completed this, because I have every confidence that each and every one of you will complete the institute, you know that there is nothing you will face once you get here academically that is any more challenging than what you will have accomplished this week. Okay? We have a few alum from the program who are upperclassmen now who are here, and you might have limited opportunities to talk to them because that may count as fraternizing too. And they will tell you, because they come back and they tell me, you were so right. I should have read beforehand. And nothing has been as hard as that week was. Okay, but it's hard in the best way. Alum tell us that they make their best friends here, and that even if they don't make their best friends, they make good friends here. They like having this community as they come back and start in the fall and actually throughout their time at Penn, and that they are prepared both for the sort of change in the way that you discuss material and have intellectual conversations in college, and also for understanding what the workload is and how to better manage it. And in keeping with trying to make sure you have all of those pieces, there are some other things that I'm going to do just to make sure both parents and students are aware. If needed, I know by now you've gotten some pre-orientation information about what to do if you have accommodations, or if you have other need of supports in terms of study skills, time management, and those kinds of things. We encourage you while you're here, if you need to stop by the Office of Student Disability Services. It's located in Stouffer Commons, which is right at the edge of a boundary on Spruce Street at 38th. They will also be available Tuesday evening, I am told, so that if you have accommodations, I do encourage you to have all of that stuff in place before you get here. I've had students in classes where I've given 3 or 4 quizzes before they've gotten that stuff done, and it just adds to anxiety and it's unnecessary. So we're here to facilitate making sure that stuff is in place if you need it. The other thing is we also do this with student financial services. So if you have questions or concerns about financial aid, they will also be around. We will have a webinar for families, for parents, after the students start on the rest of their day. But we also have advisors from Student Financial Services who are available during the week, so that if there are questions or the need for reevaluation, those things can be taken care of while you're here. You will be introduced to all manner of resources on campus this week, and they're here to support you. Your tuition dollars pay for those support services, and smart students, good students, successful students take advantage of all of the supports that are here for you. One that I like to tout that students often resist is the Writing Center. A lot of us, all of your graduate fellows are, or most of them at least, are on the path to become academics. And as academics, we write for a living. Once we are no longer students, we have to pay to get somebody to proofread our work or to edit it, to help us figure out if we're getting our ideas across the way that we intend them. You all get that for free. I encourage you to take advantage of it, because everybody can benefit from a second set of eyes. Everybody can become a better writer, no matter how good a writer you already are. And so that is a big one that I encourage students to take advantage of. When you start writing research papers and you need to write up data, there are people who can help you figure out how to do that correctly. Weingarten has other kinds of services around study skills and time management, because your parents aren't going to be here to make sure that you get out of bed, or to make sure that you get those assignments done, or that you turn them in when they're supposed to be turned in. And so there are some big adjustments that happen. To take advantage of the supports that are here to help you get through that. Are there any questions about that so far? And then I know we're live streaming. Hi, parents at home. And Gail, are there any questions from anybody? No. Okay. All right. Are there any questions about anything that we have said so far? Okay. No question. I see a hand. Was that a hand in the very back or no? No? Okay. All right. I guess just a little bit about me. As I said, I'm a sociologist by training. My work is on racial inequality in the United States. I study poverty, residential segregation. I also study the experiences of minorities in elite higher education. Jose read a whole bunch of titles after my name. Most of them are probably irrelevant for all of you. I think the thing that matters is that through doing this for as long as I've done it, I have learned my way around the bureaucracy pretty well. And so if I cannot solve a problem, I can make a phone call and usually figure out how to solve a problem. And our staff, particularly Ms. Garrison and Ms. Campbell here, are also very good at helping to solve problems, find resources, those kinds of things. I do some pre-major advising. So I think that's the other thing you should know, is that after the Institute, students will be paired with a member of the Africana faculty for an additional layer of pre-major advising. So they are faculty who are committed to your students and you as the students. I'll stop talking about you like you're not here. And that is to provide, again, support, guidance, mentoring. Sometimes there will be very close academic matches, but other times it's just navigating the university and navigating everything it means to be a student here at the university. To assist when, if things get difficult, to help navigate that bureaucracy and put you in touch with the people you need to be in touch with, but also to guide you toward opportunities that will enrich your experience while you're here, research experience, internships, opportunities to present at conferences if you're engaged in different kinds of research or artistic and creative activities. And so the idea, again, is that you will have people here who will have your back. And I encourage you to get to know them well, because eventually you'll need letters of recommendation for things. And Even if you get an A in a 200-person class, you likely will not know that professor well enough for them to speak to you and your interests and abilities the way that your Africana advisor might if you take advantage of that relationship. So if there are no other questions, I would like to thank the staff, meaning the staff in the Center for Africana Studies. So Ms. Garrison and Ms. Campbell, I have not seen the other faculty, though I thank them as well. I want to thank the GFs because they're the ones who stay up all night with your students. They also mentor your students and you through freshman year and check in periodically. And so again, they're the ones who roam the halls all night, have their doors open so that you guys have people to talk about things with all week long. They make sure you get to where you need to be. Have each other's backs. So if you have a roommate, I heard a couple of alum talking about a roommate who was always late. It is an all for one for all kind of experience. So if your roommate, text each other, make sure everybody's up, that you're in class on time. This is the thing that didn't get through. If you are on time, you are late. Okay? On time means getting to your classroom. There was a previous GF who said 10 minutes early. For the best seat, you might want to do that. But on time is late. Okay? So if class starts at 10:30, you might want to be there at 10:20. And those are things that will be taken very seriously. So, make sure your GF group is ready to go when it's time to walk to class. If they're lagging behind, get in their behinds about it and get them together, because all of you will be held accountable for that, not just the one who is lagging. Okay. So after your students leave, we encourage all of the parents to stay, those who are in the room, those who have joined us via live stream, for a parents' financial aid workshop that begins at 12:15. Your students can sign up to meet with their student financial services advisors this week if they have questions about any aspect of their financial aid packages. And during the workshop itself, parents, you will understand how to navigate that relationship. The thing that happens once your students are here is that they are largely treated like adults, even though we know better, okay? Even though we know who pays the bills and writes the checks, and even though we know who's given those gentle reminders about getting things done, the university treats the students as adults, which means if you want to be able to talk to the university on your student's behalf, your student has to give you permission on their profiles in order to do that. I argue the better way to do this is to help your students learn how to figure out what they need to know, because sometimes being hungry or not having access to a book that they need is really good motivation for them to figure out how to handle it. Okay? But understand that often the financial aid advisor, the advisor in your student's school, is going to talk to them, and it is going to be their responsibility to talk to you if it requires talking to you. And that should come across, but it does mean that sometimes it will be your student coming and saying, I need this documentation and it needs to be done this way. However, they will also schedule a meeting and they can call you and have you on the phone and you can do it together. But you'll learn about all of that. But I know that some frustration arises because parents are not here, students are. We treat students like adults in terms of the sharing of information. They have privacy rights, but sometimes parents need to know, and so you need to learn to navigate that environment as well. We have gift bags. We have a little bit of Africana Studies swag that we like to share with our families. And families can take one of them on their way out. I don't know if they're outside there or if they're downstairs. They're right there, sorry. We you know, because you are now part of the Africana family as well. We want you to feel that, even though we're going to kick you out eventually, and your kids are going to be on their own and they're going to have to figure it out. And know that they always do. They always make us proud. And sometimes the ones who are the most frustrating end up being the most endearing at the end. And that a lot of really interesting conversations happen during the course of the week. A lot of learning happens. A lot of friendships are forged. But at the end of it, they're ready, even more ready than they were before, to succeed at Penn. And then they have a community of people who have their backs once they get here. If you are watching by live stream, we'll make sure to actually mail your gift bags to you. Just give us a call or send us an email and let us know where you would like it mailed, should you decide that you want one. So all of you, thank you for participating in our program this week. I think that you will find that you will love it as much as we do. Parents, thank you for delivering your students to us. And for all that you've done to get them to this point. So students, thank your families. I think that Jose and Kiana are going to come and give you some final instructions, but part of what is going to happen now is that families are going to have a few minutes to say goodbye, because students have things to do, lots and lots of things to do. Again, thank you. Enjoy Philadelphia if you're not from here. And I will see the students tomorrow. Have a great day. Jose, Kiana.
Okay, so what's going to happen is, like Dr. Charles said, parents, say your final goodbyes. But we're going to be taking the students to lunch, and the students, you should know who your graduate fellows are. So we will be organizing according to graduate fellow with. We didn't get it. But with one note, if your graduate fellow is either Nora or Kirsten, you'll be going with Tatiana. Okay. So we'll probably be trying to break in about 10 minutes to head over to lunch. Yep.